We are continuing our month of August division previews for this upcoming NFL season. And this week we are going up north. So, we had to bring Trent, the Vikings fan, on, Rosie, the Lions fan, and then Alex is with me as well. Four of us are going to be breaking down both north divisions. Alex will be sharing his expertise where he was boots on the ground for Pittsburgh's preseason game. And I know he's got like 5 pages of notes from that one. So excited to get into that. And we also have college football season coming up. And we'll do a big college football preview segment next week with Austin as we wrap up our NFL division previews with the West divisions. And we might have some other college football content from Austin coming up, maybe this week. That's all I'll say, other than make sure you subscribe to the Making the Call Substack. Okay, that's it. Let's start, guys, with our one big headline, and then we'll get into previewing the AFC North before. I figured it made sense to save the NFC North for last. So we'll start with that one big headline. And Rosie, let's start with you.
Well, I figured we weren't going to talk about preseason all that much. So my one big headline is that don't forget that preseason games mean absolutely nothing for anybody at all. Bo Nick's doing well. Who cares? Drake May doing well. Who cares? It doesn't matter.
I had a theory about that today while I was thinking with my head. I feel like preseason, you can learn a lot more about a coach than you can a player.
That's a good point. I feel like that's a really good point.
I like that.
Like with who? Who are you thinking of?
Is it LaFleur, Packers coach?
Yep.
I think he's dog shit. Oh, shit.
Nice. Let's clip
that. It's been a while, Trent.
Yeah, he just bleeped his bleep.
He was talking about the Packers. I think we can let it slide. Right?
Yeah, we can let that one slide.
I'll bleep it out. Don't worry.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't think
funny.
I think he's kind of overrated, but we'll get into that since we're talking about it.
I mean, he's pretty
and like
good,
Kevin
but
O'Connell made Jaron Hall look good yesterday or this weekend. So
yeah, I feel like I agree with you that you can learn more about coaches than players, but I think that's also because you really can't learn a lot about these players.
that's fair.
I know Broncos fans were trying to hype up Bo Nix, and it was like, well, the other team, their top 4 best corners weren't playing in that game. Yeah. So I would hope he was carving up some of the practice squad guys. Although speaking of coaches that I think you have learned something from the preseason, and it's not necessarily a good thing. I saw a stat from the Commanders, and as you guys know, the new offensive coordinator for the Commanders is Cliff Kingsbury. And the stat is that Terry McLaurin this is from Ian Hartitz on Twitter. Terry McLaurin has lined up as the Commanders' left outside wide receiver on 28 of his 29 preseason snaps. So they're not moving him around at all. He is left X receiver, and that's it. And a good comp for this is when Kingsbury was in Arizona. That is all they did with DeAndre Hopkins. He was never on the right side. He was never in the slot. They just parked him out wide on the left side, and that's where Hopkins was. And there's like a lot of stats that show that trend as well. So I thought it was going to be, and again, it's a preseason stats. Maybe it means nothing. I thought maybe I was expecting kind of a big year from McLaurin. Like maybe this is finally the year where he can get some competent quarterback play. But if this offense is pretty stale, it kind of changes. It changed my expectations at least a little bit.
Agreed.
All right.
Good drink right there.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep it moving. Trent, your one big headline.
I'm going to Medieval Times on Friday night
for
my anniversary dinner. That was last week.
Wow.
Had to cancel it. Mom's brother died, or mom's uncle died. So I lost a babysitter last Friday, and so we rescheduled it to Friday.
Uncle
and we're
wasn't
going
the
to Medieval
babysitter,
Times.
right?
No,
So
the
good.
uncle wasn't the babysitter. My mom was. She had to go to Minnesota for his funeral. But yeah, going to Medieval Times. Gonna have a good time.
Have you ever been?
I have been once. Sat next to Jason Terry. He signed my shoes.
Who's that?
The
Wait.
Jet.
Benny?
2011 Mavs.
Penny.
Sharpshooter, corner 3-pointer.
Oh,
There it is.
it's a neat.
These were the shoes I wore to medieval times,
appropriate.
Love it.
and
I'd say.
he signed them.
The Mavs don't win Game 6 of the NBA Finals and
Without JT.
the NBA
And game
Finals
2.
without Jet. Yeah, that's
How
cool.
many muttons are you gonna eat?
73. Sitting the
Gonna be
line at
forking 'em
74
down.
though.
Wow, that's a high line. Okay. I've never been to medieval times. Rosie, Alex, have y'all been?
I have not.
I can infer what it is, but I haven't even heard of it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you
Going
can
Friday,
infer
going
what it
Friday
is.
at 7 if you guys want to go.
On your anniversary
Yeah. Well,
My
scratch
anniversary was
that.
last week.
to celebrate your anniversary.
I
you
love
want us
that.
to
I
come
love that's
with
where
the
y'all are
boys?
going.
Fancy.
You're gonna be like Robert Baratheon is more wine.
Yeah, you
I
should go
love it.
hunting afterwards too.
Oh gosh.
Oh, no.
I think I'll skip that part. We all know how that ends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Please
have
do.
a wine taster.
Please do.
I'll be your wine taster.
All right, Alex, what's your one big headline?
I popped into Pittsburgh for the weekend. Saw the Mariners sort of watch their season pretty much fall to an end. But I guess they
You
won
said that like
yesterday.
10 times.
Yeah, I
Are you still
know.
a person?
That's the life of a Mariners fan, man. It's depressing out here. But PNC Park is beautiful. Would 100% recommend y'all go. I also did a little Mac Miller tour. He's got an album about where he grew up in, and you can go to certain spots. I hit Frick Park Market, got a good sandwich there. And I hit Blue Slide Park, which is in the middle of like this park called Frick Park, which
Is
is
there a Blue
basically
Slide?
like Central Park in Pittsburgh, but not really central, but it's huge. It was nice. And then the last day I was there, I had some travel issues, I guess. Every plane out of Philadelphia where I was going was delayed. But luckily, I was able to get on standby for Dallas. And instead of having to spend the night in Philadelphia and take off at 5 a.m. this morning, then get back home at like 8, I was able to get home at like 11. So that was a plus for me. I was pretty hyped in the airport yesterday when that happened. And we'll talk about the Steelers when we get to the AFC North. But I have plenty of thoughts on that game too. But yeah, highly recommend Pittsburgh for anybody. The whole city vibe's pretty cool. It's sort of reminded me of Seattle a little bit because they're on the water. It's not like the ocean, but it is the Allegheny River. And like to get to the city, you have to cross a bridge. And once you like pop out of the tunnel, like the whole skyline just flashes right in your face. It's a pretty cool drive. The humidity wasn't great. I'd probably come back in the fall, but overall it was a fun little weekend.
Okay. Yeah. Would you say did PNC Park because like that's
Yeah,
I feel like it's
top-
one of the most hyped up
top-
parks. Does it
I
live
think
up to the hype?
top five easily, depending on
Okay.
how you rank like history when you rank ballparks with Fenway and Wrigley, but top 5 and more likely top 3 for me. Honestly, it's
History's
nice
overrated.
and it's smaller than you think. It's only $3.99 to center, like $3.40 to left, and $3.20 to right. So
Well, Seager
plenty
just
of
went
opportunity for
420 to
home
right.
run.
So
yeah,
Did he?
yeah,
Okay, you're ahead of me. All right, so that's your one big headline. Did you guys see this news? I'm trying to find it at another source to see if it's confirmed, but I'm seeing a tweet that says, and we try not to get too political on this podcast, that Trump says he would tap Elon Musk for a cabinet position. Did y'all see that?
he'd tap him for it.
Apparently,
tap tap.
on the cabinet.
Cool.
Monkeypox, baby.
I'm
Not that
curious.
kind of tapping.
I'm curious how that would work. Like, would
Could be like the
Elon have to like?
who's the person
No.
who runs like the energy or whatever, something like that. He could do that, I guess.
I know, but would he have to like step down as? Could he sell Twitter to someone else?
No,
'Cause
that's
if
a
so,
side
I
hustle
kinda
anyways. That's
support
not
this
his full-time job.
Bro, he fixed Twitter. I don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
what are you talking about?
I do not feel like it's gotten better. But
It's definitely got more entertaining.
It has a more stupid name for sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
no one calls it X.
That's the only downside to it. Everything else.
Yeah.
In this
I
house,
agree.
we call it Twitter.
Community
The-
notes make my life.
The community notes are cool, but like, I don't know. The
Sometimes they're
algorithm
passive-aggressive,
on
and that's funny.
like the videos, I don't like that the videos autoplay like a next
Oh, I
video.
hate that. Yeah, that's a good point.
And I will get the most obscure things that'll pop up. It'll be like I'm watching some sports video, and then
Flame
all of a sudden, anyways. All
You guys
right.
don't want to know the context of that.
Nope. We're just gonna
You know,
keep
you
it
know.
moving.
You know,
We're
you
gonna
know.
keep it moving. Okay. My one big headline is that college football is back almost officially. We got week 0 this weekend.
It is
so
officially back.
We don't
Come
have
on.
to go a weekend without football until
Valentine's
February.
Day.
So we officially made it. Kicks off, let's see. Saturday, you got Florida State versus Georgia Tech. Florida State is
In
10th
Ireland.
ranked. In
It's
Ireland,
in Ireland?
too.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Dublin.
Yeah. So enjoy the week 0 games. Should be a lot of fun. And then obviously like the big games will kick off week 1, and we'll do a full kind of breakdown segment with Austin next week. But all right, AFC North. Let's get into it. Last year's standings, Baltimore won the division at 13-4. Cleveland also made the playoffs at 11-6. Pittsburgh also made the playoffs at 10-7. And then the Bengals rounded out the division at 9-8. Some notable changes. So let's start with the Ravens. They signed running back Derrick Henry. That was kind of their big move. And then they lost the following in free agency: running back Gus Edwards, running back J.K. Dobbins, cornerback Ronald Darby, linebacker Patrick Queen, and outside linebacker Jadeveon Clowney. The Browns added wide receiver Jerry Jeudy, linebacker Jordan Hicks, and running backs Deontay Foreman and Nyheim Hines as they wait Nick Chubb to come back from his injury. The Steelers added quarterbacks Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, linebacker Patrick Queen, cornerback Dante Jackson, and then they lost wide receiver Deontay Johnson, safety Keanu Neal, and cornerback Patrick Peterson. They also drafted left tackle Troy Fontenot, center Zach Frazier, and wide receiver Roman Wilson. And then finally, the Bengals added, they're getting Joe Burrow back from injury. They added offensive tackle Trent Brown, safety Geno Stone, and running back Zach Moss. They lost Joe Mixon and defensive lineman DJ Reader, and then they drafted right tackle Amarius Mims. So those are kind of the big ins and outs for the division. Let's start with the Ravens, shall we? I don't know if y'all agree with me, but if I look at the AFC, I think the Ravens are the team best suited to overtake the Chiefs this year. I think if any team's going to do it, it's the Ravens. I know you could make a case for Houston, but where are y'all at with the Ravens in terms of the hierarchy in the AFC?
Well, last year they were clearly the best team in the league. And then they just decided not to run the ball against the Chiefs. Don't know why. And so they fixed that with getting Derrick Henry. I think they're going to be really good again. So I agree with you.
Yeah, same. They excel in the regular season, and then, like Rosie says, they sort of just overthink playoff games. Lamar disappears. We'll see how their defense looks, too, losing Mike McDonald. I know that's going to hurt a bit, but I don't think the adjustment will be that crazy. But, yeah, overall, they're a good regular season team, and I don't think that's going to change.
Okay. Trent?
I think they're good. It'd be interesting to see how they fare this year. They get a little bit of a tougher schedule than they had last year, and I don't know. I just keep waiting for Lamar Jackson just to fall off, and every time you think he's gonna, he goes off for another 400+ yard game, and he's just.
Why would you think he'd fall off right now? He's in the prime of his career.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always been kind of a Lamar hater, I guess.
You have been. That's true.
I don't really have any context to it. Like, I don't know why. I just don't.
I mean, the hate's valid when it comes to playoffs, but
I feel like he hasn't put
has
it all
been
together yet, to be honest.
Well, when is he going to do that? This is what, year 5?
I think there's still room for improvement for sure. Yeah. But him as a passer, he's just still not very consistent. That being said, he's perfect how he is. Like he's a top 5 quarterback easily.
Yeah.
Even
Playmaker.
with these faults. Like what quarterback right now is perfect other than Patrick Mahomes? Like there's no one.
I agree.
And I think maybe it's just like I prefer like a field general type quarterback, and he's not that. So
yeah,
that might be
I
it.
could see
like
that.
he's really good at what he does. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. Rather him be on someone else's team, not mine.
Yeah, he is like. I mean, this is not a hot take or breaking news to anyone, but whenever I'm watching him, he is the most feared quarterback in terms of his ability to scramble and to turn a 3rd and 7 into a 20-yard gain just by using his legs. Like Josh Allen is an incredible runner, but in terms of just being able to just like sneak through the teeth of the defense and all of a sudden he's just past you, like that is by far and away his biggest strength. And he's done that with, I know like his rookie season, they had Mark Ingram at running back. And so they had a decent running game. And Baltimore, going back to when they had like Greg Roman as the offensive coordinator, they've always had a good running attack. And a lot of it has been because of Lamar. But now you add Derrick Henry to that backfield. And I just think like the rushing attack is going to be really good. And I'm really high on Zay Flowers. Like he showed me some like good things in his rookie season. And now if Lamar can have like a legit wide receiver and you pair that with Mark Andrews, like I think there is a way that this team can take it up a level, because I went through like who they added and who they lost. Like they re-signed, my guy, Justin Matabuke. They re-signed a lot of their pending free agents, and then they just plugged Derrick Henry into this backfield. That's a better team.
Yeah, that's going to be a weapon in the red zone, Derrick Henry. Sort of takes some of the load off Lamar, too.
He's another one where it's like he's going to fall off.
He's going to fall off, but
No,
once he's
is
in the
this-
red
is
zone,
it-
he doesn't have to do too much.
Yeah. Is it this year he does that, or is it next year? Or...
I mean, just imagine if they go like they integrate a little more like college style offense and you're running a read option on the goal line with Lamar and Derrick Henry.
Or just Derrick Henry. I think he
Or
has
just
a perfect
Derrick Henry.
passer
Stuff it up
rating.
the middle, baby. Old school.
Like I just think the amount of run packages they're going to be able to show defenses in these short yardage situations is going to be just disgusting. But all right, let's keep it moving. Let's talk about the Browns. Let's talk about Deshaun Watson. It has been a tumultuous time for him in Cleveland, I think is fair to say. And they gave him the biggest contract, at that time for a quarterback. And I'm going to pull up his contract just so we can get the full details of what's still left on it. But as I pull that up,
Probably should have muted. Sorry, guys.
it's okay.
At least
I
you
thought
leaned
I,
away.
I thought
off
if I
mic.
thought if
You
I
leaned
looked
away.
the other way.
Yeah.
You leaned away. So his cap hit this year is $64 million. His cap hit in 2025 is $64 million.
Whoa.
And then his cap hit in 2026 is $64 million.
If
And then
Russell
he's got
Wilson
a-
Saying him
didn't
like he's
exist,
Luka Doncic. He's not.
And then he's got a void year for $9 million in 2027 that they could void. And
That's
there aren't
terrible.
any like potential outs. It's all fully guaranteed.
Yeah.
So from a football standpoint, because let's talk football first, and then we can, depending on how you guys answer, we can get into more of the financial contract implications. From a football standpoint, is this the final ultimate no more excuses, make or break season for Deshaun Watson?
that was last year, in my opinion.
I think it's this year. He got hurt last year.
He
He didn't
yeah,
look
I
good
mean,
when he
it-
got hurt, but I think if he doesn't show something this year, then you punt.
you just never see anyone in professional sports come back from this, like the Tiger Woods effect. Like he's never gonna be what he was.
Hold on. Tiger did win a major after that.
But
Slow
like,
down.
I mean,
Also,
took him, like,
Tiger's
30
problems-
tries.
Tiger's off the field issues were a little different than
Not a I mean, yeah, a little, but they're
In terms of quantity, yeah.
nice.
Yeah, and in terms of, never mind. All right, let's just keep it going.
But yeah, I don't think that.
Keep it
I think
moving.
Deshaun Watson's cooked. I don't think that there's any way that he didn't show me a single thing last season. Like, if you want to compare him to someone like Calvin Ridley, who had to take a year off because of gambling, which I feel for him now. But like, at least he showed flashes last year of like still being a really good player. Deshaun Watson, yeah, he got hurt, but that was like halfway through the season. He was awful. And how old is he now? Like 30? Like, it's
29,
not going
30,
to get better from here. Like,
he is 29.
He's same age as Lamar.
Wow.
Yeah, but Lamar is actually good. So
Yeah.
I just don't think. I mean, is this the final ultimate no more excuses? Sure, but I think it was last year, to be honest.
I mean, piggybacking on that, where's he going to go even if he sucks this year, though? No one's picking up that contract. Are you just going to bench him, I guess, for Winston? What else do you do as the Browns? You're sort of rocking a hard place here. You're
Well, they
pretty
were
much
a
stuck with him
playoff
for the
team
full
with Joe
contract.
Flacco.
So if they cut him after this year, it would have to be after this season. They would have a dead cap number of $137 million.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
They said that about Russell Wilson,
That
too,
is-
and then they cut him.
That's a crazy
Yeah.
amount of money. The dead cap was not $137 million. It was like half that.
Was it half? I don't know, man. It was a lot.
Hold on.
wasn't-
I'll tell you. I'm
think it was
pulling
in
it up
the
right now.
70s.
But I mean, back then we were saying the same thing about Russell Wilson that we're saying about Deshaun Watson. Like, there's no way after this season. No, if he's awful again, he's going to get cut, and he's going to be on the trash heap.
I mean, I hope they bench him for Jameis Winston this year. They got the most popular backup in America for him.
Man,
So that's just another wrinkle.
Did y'all watch his pregame hype? What,
Oh, yeah, I watched-
I don't know if it was game 1 or game 2 of the preseason, but man, I was ready to run through a wall.
I watched
Oh,
it before work, man.
I love him.
Let's get this done.
So Russell Wilson, it's like an $85 million dead cap
Okay,
number.
it's a little bit more than half.
Yeah.
Worth it.
Yeah, I just don't know what they do with him. Like, I don't know if you cut him, you eat the money, and you just draft a rookie and you try to salvage it like that. Because you look at this team and like the defense was incredible last year, and you would think that the defense is going to be really good again this year because they didn't lose a lot of guys. Let me see. Yeah, no, they really didn't. And I mean, they added Jordan Hicks to the linebacker group. Like, it's a team where it's like if they had a league average quarterback, they're a Super Bowl contender. Like,
yeah, I mean, they were really good last year. Flacco just kind of fell apart against Houston.
yeah.
But
Like, I look at the Browns, and Trent, I think Kirk Cousins is a little bit above league average.
No, he's
But
top
if-
5.
If Kirk Cousins was on the Browns, I would think they're like a legitimate threat in the AFC. With that defense, with Amari Cooper, but they have Deshaun Watson. It's gross.
sorry, Cleveland.
Yeah. The Steelers. Can one of you, and maybe it's the one who was there in person, maybe not, who knows, but can one of you give me like a single reason why I should care about the 2024 Pittsburgh Steelers?
Because I am going. Nope, me first. I am going on a 5-year Justin Fields parade, and you're invited.
Yeah, that's basically what I was going to say. If you want to hate watch, all the glory.
Nah, he just never got a fair shot. I don't know what to tell you.
No, he's trash, dude. I saw it live. It's bad. All he does is run around, and he can't even throw on the run. If his first read isn't open, he just freaks out.
I think he's going to be a great kickoff returner when Cordero Patterson retires.
Yeah, especially
even think he'd be good at
kickoff
that.
there.
Well,
He probably gets
I don't
sacked
know,
in the
man.
end zone.
Evaluating quarterbacks is hard. I don't know what to tell you. You win some, you lose some.
Not Trent.
Not me. I'm right about all of them. That's right, Rosie. Get that in your head.
Your feelings or in your opinions on Daniel Jones have been well documented on this podcast. So I wouldn't say you're right about all of them.
Not giving up.
All right. I'll give up on Justin Fields when you give up on Daniel Jones. How about that?
I think it's a fair trade.
That's
been a
not
longer
fair
career.
because
That is
Yeah.
fair.
no, it's not. Justin Fields is going to be done at the end of this year. Daniel Jones is locked in.
Daniel Jones will be a backup after this year.
Nah, he won't.
Yeah, just
He will not be the starter in New York next season.
He'll have more fantasy
Make the
points.
call?
Than Dak.
Sure. Yeah.
Making the okay, ring the bell.
I don't have the soundboard pulled up. I'll
Yeah, you
I'll
know
add it
why?
in. I'll add it in.
Because you're a Fields
Wow.
truther. You're never prepared for something.
Wow.
Any kind of audible, you're not.
Yeah, I'm the
prepared.
one who's never
Yeah.
prepared for anything with the podcast. Okay.
Yep.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. Anyways, Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
I just think this like
They got Mike Tomlin. There's your green grass.
He's gonna get fired after this year. I'll make
No, he
that
won't.
call.
That's a call.
that is a
It-
call.
You should hear what Pittsburgh fans say about him. They're tired of it. They don't care that he has a winning record every year. It's still mediocre. Like they haven't. It's like they're basically the Cowboys of the AFC. Pretty much.
It's not
these
true.
days.
They've won like what?
I know
2
they've
Super
gotten to
Bowls
NFC
since-
Championship games and stuff, or AFC Championship games and stuff lately, but they're not going to be back for a long time with Mike Tomlin. Is what
Did
I'm
you,
saying. They're never going to be bad enough to get a good draft pick, and they're never going to be good enough to make it to that type of round.
They
Again,
haven't made it to the divisional round since 2017.
see,
Did you
streak
put
start.
that they lost Kenny Pickett when you ran?
I didn't think that was notable.
It's not.
think
It's
Mason
just like
Rudolph-
it's funny that was like the easiest quarterback bust to ever predict when it
Yeah.
happened. Like
Because
Even
of
Mason
fans.
Rudolph was worse for them. They should have kept him. He got him to the playoffs.
True.
He knew the system.
He
They're
knew
going to
the
have like
system.
2 seconds to throw, and Russ can't move, and Fields can, but he can't throw on the run. They're going to suck.
Just run a
Bet
2-quarterback
under.
system. Throw Fields and Russ out there at the same time.
Why
What's
not?
that? What's that John Madden quote? If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have 0 quarterbacks.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage is playing John Madden. That's fun.
Yeah.
Is he getting
He
really
is.
fat?
Probably. He's a method actor.
Is he getting dead?
I thought you were going to say meth
gosh.
actor.
Okay, not that method.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. I'm out on Pittsburgh.
Same.
I
Sell. Bet the under on the win totals. Maybe if there's a prop bet that Mike
spoiler.
Tomlin gets fired, maybe
Spoiler.
bet that. I'm sure that's got some juicy odds.
I doubt they fire him mid-season.
They're not going to fire him mid-season, but
do.
if you can just bet on him not being the coach next year, I would.
Okay. And then finally, Cincinnati. Are y'all at all concerned
Nope.
about Joe Burrow coming back from this injury?
No?
There's some medical stuff that he has like 90% of the grip in his throwing hand, or at least that's like what is projected. And he keeps getting hurt, so maybe his body just isn't built for the NFL. It's possible.
Oof.
Who cares? He got that bag.
He's got
Well-
the slim shady hair. He's good.
I think it's concerning that unless there's been a recent report from camp, I know like as of a week ago, they said that he's not allowed to throw a football 3 days in a row. That seems not good.
Yeah, Dak did that, like, 2
Precautionary.
years ago too. or something.
Relax. You're looking at
And the fact that like no quarterback or even like baseball pitcher has ever gotten the kind of injury that Joe Burrow is coming back from. Like the injury that he got is like most common in like linemen. So there's no precedent for
All
what
right.
this looks like for the quarterback.
Thank you for bringing this up, Andrew. Jack
He's
Eichel.
fine.
We're going to hockey in July or August, whatever it is.
Let's go.
Jack Eichel has a fake back now. He was the first hockey player ever to do it. He got traded out of Buffalo because Buffalo wouldn't let him have the surgery. Vegas
So,
said,
like-
"Yeah, you can have the surgery." So they traded for him, and he should have been the MVP the year they won the Stanley Cup.
So it's
So
like
the whole like, oh, it's never happened before in this league. Medicine has evolved where if you want to do something, they can make you do something. Like they could give you a whole new like tendon if you wanted, and it could make you
Yeah, they
jump
can.
60 feet in the air. So I'm not worried about like it's never been done before, because if he's on the football field, especially in today's economy, I don't know why I said economy, but
like it.
basically, like he's gonna be fine. Doctors wouldn't let him play if he couldn't play.
science, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're overthinking it, Andrew.
I think it's at least a little concerning.
Nope. He's got
Bro,
some shady hair.
you walked into it. Never mind.
What?
No, you're not gonna like what I'm gonna say, so we can move on.
Go ahead and say it. If
You're
I really
leaving
don't
the
like it, I'll cut
listeners
it.
Hung.
You just walked into some medical place and got a jab, and now you're saying don't trust the science.
Got a point.
Come on, dude.
No, he doesn't, Alex. He does not have a point.
Trust
Do
the
not encourage
science.
him. Do not
It's-
encourage him.
It's
I told you
advanced.
weren't gonna like it. You said
No,
trust
that's
the science
fine.
for 3 years, and all of a
I've
sudden Joe
heard-
Burrow
you've
has a
said-
shoulder injury, and we can't trust it anymore.
Yeah.
I think Joe Burrow's vaxxed. Maybe that's why his recovery is a little weird.
You might be onto something.
I've got Trent bought in now. That's all I had to do. Oh, goodness. Yeah, no, that doesn't bother me at all. You've said much worse to me than that. So,
Yeah, probably.
all right. Fantasy storyline you're most interested in the AFC North. Alex, what you got?
Didn't know you were coming to me. Mine is what's going to happen with George Pickens in this awful QB play he's going to have to endure, topped off with the awful play calling that the Steelers are already known for. I think it might boil over a bit, and he's already a sort of a diva type of receiver, but I think at the end of this year, he's going to be looking for a new home, and I would stay away from George Pickens in your leagues, unless it's dynasty, maybe if you want to stash him for later. But overall, I'm down on George Pickens, and I'm watching him to see if he's going to become a locker room issue and maybe try and force his way out.
I'll tell you what is exactly going to happen with George Pickens. He's going to have 3 awesome 100-yard games where he's going to catch 3 passes and with 1 pinky and then run it to the house. And then the rest is going to be under 20-yard games. Like, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, just because the play calling is so inconsistent and the offensive line play is going to be really inconsistent. It's going to be tough to get him the ball, especially if he's going deep.
Whatever Drake London did last year, I think you can probably expect something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same
you
guy
mentioned.
plays.
I was about to say you mentioned the opposite play calling, Alex. Does anyone in the class want to remind us who the new OC is in Pittsburgh?
FedEx boy.
Yeah, who
Arthur
is that?
Smith.
Man,
Oh, boy.
if he gets a play call, like I'm better than him, and I've been playing NCAA 25 for like 3 months,
Yeah,
and I'm better than him.
I think collectively we could be an offensive coordinator for a team, and not
Halfback
do-
smash. They got Najee.
There you go.
Halfback smash to slants to play action bootleg rollout to Fryermuth.
Boom.
It's easy.
Done.
Yeah, and
Easy.
Super Bowl. Step
Done.
4, Super Bowl.
Super Bowl win.
Okay.
All right, Trent, your fantasy storyline.
This we've already you kind of touched on this. I want to see if Zay Flowers can avoid the sophomore slump, because like you're going on a little bit about it, where he looked really good last year, and I agree. I just want to see if he can keep that up and be consistently like a top 10, top 15 fantasy receiver. I think
Probably
he has the
my
tool set.
favorite. Sorry, go ahead.
I think he has the tool set to do it. I don't know. You gotta put it on the field, prove it.
He's probably my favorite bust candidate right now where he's going in
Yeah.
drafts.
I'm scared. I'm scared of that too, because I definitely see that perspective of it as well.
Well, like he's incredibly electric. You saw it last year, but that was with Mark Andrews out. And as much as I don't love Mark Andrews, he's going to draw targets. And then there's all this hype for Rashad Bateman. And then Derrick Henry's there too. So I just don't really see. We've never had a good Baltimore wide receiver other than last year with Zay Flowers. I don't think that you can expect too much from him, especially where he's
Anquan
being
Bolden
drafted right
was
now.
good for a year.
He was on the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he start there? Who was the other guy they had? They had Anquan Bolden and
Willie Snead.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Oh gosh, this
Mike
was like
Wallace.
Lamar's like rookie season, right?
I think it was right before.
Crabtree.
It was the year they won the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Like a long time ago.
let's see.
Torrey Smith.
Bolden. Well, okay. Bolden was the
Bolden
receiver.
was there when Lamar was a rookie, I think, but he was old.
Yeah, but he was the leading receiver when they won the Super Bowl.
Steve Smith was there too. That's funny.
Good times.
Yeah, if you look receiving yards, the year they won the Super Bowl, yeah, Bolden was 921 receiving yards. Torrey Smith was 855. So you think Zay Flowers is a bust candidate?
Yeah, I'm trying to look up.
I definitely
where he's
do that
going right
boy.
now.
I see that
He,
for sure.
on Keep Trade Cut, if you look at their dynasty rankings, he is one slot in terms of wide receivers. He's one spot ahead of George Pickens,
Yeah, I think Pickens is a bust as well.
and he's behind. So the three guys ahead of him are DK Metcalf, Michael Pittman, T. Higgins, and the three guys after him, if you exclude George Pickens, is JSN, Debo, and Xavier Worthy.
I'm taking all three of those guys.
Yeah, you'll find in my fantasy player to watch, they're all players that I am not drafting because of where their ADP is, but I'm very interested to see how they perform. Because I think their ADP is probably a little too high, but if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, I mean it makes sense. Like that's especially. I know a lot of times we talk in like terms of dynasty, but if you're in like redraft or something, that is half the battle, right? Is trying to find the like market inefficiencies between whose ADP is too high than what you think and whose ADP is too low versus what you think. And like last year, Raheem Mostert was going, and if in redrafts, he was going like in the 10th round and led the league in rushing touchdowns. So it's like you're trying to identify kind of those crazy mismatches. And if you think Zay Flowers is a little too high, then you think he's a little too high, and that's fine.
In redraft, he's going as a wide receiver 26, which doesn't sound too high, but he's ahead of guys like T. Higgins, Christian Kirk, Terry McLaurin, Tank Dell, Rasheed Rice, Chris Godwin. I'd probably take all those guys ahead of him.
I do think
Take
like
half of them.
I could see why he'd be going ahead of those guys because what's the unknowns with Zay Flowers? Like in terms of pass catchers, who else is he competing against? It's Mark Andrews and Rashad Bateman,
Who have been pretty good at times. Bateman's had some injury issues, but
so
Mark Andrews has he? No, he hasn't had a tight end one season, has he?
Who are the guys you listed after him, Rosie, just now? Do you still have that?
Yes, I do. Right after him is T. Higgins. I'll go straight down the list. T. Higgins,
Yeah.
Christian Kirk, George Pickens, Terry McLaurin, Tank Dell, Rasheed Rice, Chris Godwin.
Okay. So George Pickens is the only, well, I guess you could also say Rasheed Rice are the only ones who would be considered number one wide receivers on their team.
Terry McLaurin,
And Terry McLaurin.
Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk's not the number one.
Who is?
Is he?
He was last year.
Oh,
And
okay.
he is now. Well, I mean personally, I think
It's
Brian
him,
Thomas
Gabe
Jr. is really
Davis, and
good.
Brian. He's a rookie, so
Yeah,
So,
he's a
but they're
rookie, so I
kind
don't
of
know,
like,
but I
he's
think
kind of in
gonna
that
be.
group of, he's in that group of like good number twos, like T. Higgins, and number ones with question marks. And to me, I think that kind of feels right.
well, he's behind Mark Andrews for one. And then for 2, I think they have had the lowest passing offense, like passing attempts in the NFL for 10 years now. Like they just don't pass the ball, and they're not going to start with Derrick Henry.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Lamar threw for 3,700 yards last year, 24 touchdowns, 7 picks. So it's not like that's like he was just behind Jalen Hurts and just above Geno Smith. And you're not knocking,
mid.
DK Metcalf or
Geno was
AJ
mid
Brown.
last year, but that's because of his line.
Yeah,
I think they pass enough. They're not the Chiefs, but I think they pass plenty to produce a top 15 wide receiver from Zay Flowers.
he can definitely do it. I don't see it.
Perfect
Okay.
segue. Rosie.
My fantasy headline or whatever it is.
Storyline.
Can Derrick Henry lead the NFL in touchdowns?
Rushing.
Yeah, and rushing. Yeah. Well, no, he's
If it
going to
was
be
total, if it was total touchdowns, I think I
Probably
was going to
not.
say no.
What are the odds on that, Alex? Run the numbers.
Hold on.
Beep, boop, beep, beep, beep.
He said, "Hold on."
Shoot, I had all the stats up, and then I was looking up Drake London. So Lamar Jackson, he had 5 total rushing touchdowns last year. I don't think that you can expect him to steal goal line touches from Derrick Henry, like maybe 1 or 2. But last year, a bum in the name of Gus Edwards had 13 rushing touchdowns. So I would say that Derrick Henry's a little bit better than Gus Edwards.
Seeger just went 392.
Huh?
Again? Wait.
Man,
Rosie, it's only plus
My
800
stream is way off.
for him to lead the whole league in touchdowns?
in rushing touchdowns.
Oh,
Plus
man, that should
800.
be my
Oh, I
bet
see. Plus
instead,
700. Okay, yeah, take the plus 800.
McCaffrey's a plus 700.
The only thing is he's 30. I don't really see how he isn't amazing in fantasy, and especially touchdown wise, other than getting hurt. Like I don't see the Ravens offense falling apart. I don't see them using Justice Hill too much to where it's going to cut into Derrick Henry's work. It's just he could get hurt. I think Trent was the one that asked a good question in our chat. Like, what would you, in a dynasty league, what would you trade Derrick Henry away for? Because, like, this could be it. This could be the last year.
I personally think it is the last year. So I think if you can get if you're contending, keep him. But like if you're like middle of the pack, bottom of the pack, or whatever, I would trade him for a can of Cheerios or something. Just get him out.
I'd want more than that, probably. I'd probably want.
Well, yeah, get more than that, but just get
Yeah.
something for him because you're not going to have him next year.
I mean, it's
I don't.
possible.
I don't.
He's a freak.
I'll say like I don't think he's like Travis Kelce, where you keep him until he retires.
Derrick Henry or T. Higgins?
T. Higgins.
I'd probably take T. Higgins. Yeah.
I still think T. Higgins is going to go somewhere else and be pretty good.
I'll say this though. I've been doing redraft rankings. We can talk about it at the end of the show, but I have Derrick Henry as a top 8 running back, which is a lot higher than where everyone else has him. I think that he could easily be RB1, and everyone's sleeping on him. So I would
agree.
In a dynasty league, if you're competing, that is so valuable. He can change the position for you, like Christian McCaffrey does.
What about? Hold on, let me see here. Derrick Henry versus like James Cook.
I'd probably take James Cook.
Okay, I'm trying to find that sweet spot. I think I'm still a little too high with the players. Okay. What about
Derrick Henry, Christian Watson.
I'd probably take Derrick Henry.
I'd take Derrick Henry.
Okay, so I went
Too
too
low,
far.
too low, too low.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
went too
know. I
far.
think we're around there, though. I think that's probably a good line.
Derrick Henry or Aaron Jones.
Henry.
Aaron Jones. That's
Aaron
a good one.
Judge.
No,
I
I'm
think
going
I think
Henry.
that's the spot.
I think Aaron
Henry.
Jones is going to get you
I'll
30
take it.
points for 4 weeks and then get hurt.
It's possible.
Aaron Jones is only
can do
1
the
year
same
younger
thing.
than Derrick Henry.
He's old.
Jeez.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think just me, right? For fantasy storyline. All right.
bet.
Which running back's going to win out in Cincy between Chase Brown and Zach Moss? I think is kind of one of the more interesting running back battles.
I think it's the only real running back battle, if you ask me.
In the NFL?
Yeah, I think everyone else has pretty much got at least a 1A and 1B.
Except
I
the
don't think-
Cowboys.
Cowboys don't have a 1A or a 1B.
Yeah, they're like
Trash.
3B, 3C.
Yeah. Yeah, just because Chase Brown, he's a second year running back and showed some flashes last year. They moved on from Joe Mixon, which was smart from Cincinnati. They bring in Zach Moss, who filled in nicely in Indianapolis when Jonathan Taylor was out and had a really, really good year. I know I mentioned the stat before we hit record. On Next Gen Stats, they track the rushing yards over expectation per carry. And in terms of running backs, Zach Moss was third behind he was fourth behind Christian McCaffrey, Jalen Warren, and James Conner. And he was tied with Breece Hall and Kyron Williams in rushing yards over expected per attempt. So, he had by far, he had an incredible year last year. And Cincinnati, I don't think has as good of an offensive line as Indianapolis does. So that's obviously a big factor. But where do y'all lean in this running back battle? Who do you think is going to get the majority of carries, to start off?
To start off is going to be Zach Moss. But I think Chase Brown he's younger. He has shown flashes. I didn't really like him coming out, but I didn't like Zach Moss either. Honestly, I think what you said about the offensive line is my biggest takeaway. The best that you can get is Joe Mixon last year, and that was decent. You might get that out of one guy. So,
okay. All right. Favorite futures bets. Rosie, you want to start us off?
yeah, all of us crapping on the Steelers. We got them going under 7.5 wins at plus 135.
Boo.
Should be higher odds.
Yeah, it really should, but dang, that was loud.
I'm sorry.
Maybe we should go with the Derrick
WD-40
Henry.
on this mic.
Maybe we should go with Derrick Henry leading the league in rushing touchdowns. Hey, plus 800.
Boost those
But
odds.
I like that. Plus 800.
It's gonna be
on the
red zone
Steelers.
merchant.
I don't know
Bonds
how it
Steelers,
can be
yeah.
worse than it was last year with TJ Watt getting hurt and Kenny Pickett being awful.
It wasn't even
But-
that bad. They went 10-7.
Yeah, I think that is
That's
just
crazy.
I know.
Like, you look at that team and you see their record, and you're like, what?
People underrate Mason Rudolph. He
That would be
had that team.
the
cooking.
reason why I wouldn't like this bet is just because I think Mike Tomlin is worth at least 2 wins more than they should get.
I understand that. I think that's a good point. But I don't know if y'all remember, but last year, one of my NFL takeaways was it can always get worse. I can't see exactly how it could be worse from last season, but with the Steelers, the vibes are so bad. I think they got kind of lucky in some of their wins last year. The
No doubt.
defense scored some touchdowns. That is so fluky. I don't see them getting 7 wins, to be honest.
Okay. Well, if you don't think they're going to get 7, you could get a little better juice. Again, I don't think the odds are great. You could do under 6.5 wins at plus 170. I would like that to be more in the 2-1 odds, but it's there for you. All right. Trent, your favorite futures bet.
I am going with the Bengals to win the 1 seed in the AFC plus 600.
Wow. So you are not concerned at all about his injury.
I'm not. No,
Love
they finished last in their division, so they get the 2 last place finishers of whatever divisions they don't get. I don't know off the top of my head. So they have
Yeah.
an easier schedule than the rest of the AFC, and they didn't have their quarterback last year. So
Love it.
I'm expecting him to get the 1 seed revenge season for Joe Burr.
Bird.
I think they're going to be good.
They do have, I'm looking at their schedule. So yeah, the games that, because the AFC North is paired with the NFC North or NFC East, sorry. And then they're also paired with the, looks like the AFC West. So the other teams that they play, let me see. It looks like the Panthers on the road,
Dub.
the Patriots at home,
Dub.
and the Titans on the road.
Yeah, the Titans.
Cake.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
cake.
telling you, they have a relatively easy schedule, and I think if they're going to ever be a 1 seed, this is the year to do it.
Yeah, just
They
handle.
do have to
business
play.
in the
They
division.
do have to play Kansas City and Buffalo. I think though.
Kansas
Yeah, they gotta play
City.
Buffalo twice.
Yes, Buffalo.
Sorry,
No.
Once. Sorry,
I thought
They
you
haven't
just
had
said
a
they had the
schedule.
NFC East.
they don't even play them.
Yeah, NFC East, not AFC
AFC.
East.
Oh, NFC. Okay.
NFC East and
So they get the
AFC
Cowboys.
West.
Easy money.
Nah,
Yeah,
don't
so
even
they
have to play
get.
Cowboys, right?
If you assume that the Bengals beat the Patriots, Commanders, Panthers, Giants, we'll go Raiders, Titans, Broncos. That's 7 wins, not counting,
What they
you know,
do against
the
the division.
not counting the division opponents that they play, or you know,
Chiefs.
Cowboys, Chiefs, Eagles,
Oh, you can count the Cowboys.
Chargers. Yeah, okay, so that's 8 wins.
That's 8 wins.
I'm telling. It's an easy schedule. I think there's. I have $20 on it. I'll
long
be
as
straight
Joe
up.
Burrow
I
doesn't
think
get
it's an
hurt.
easy schedule, but I do think this division is going to be really, really challenging. Like the
don't.
divisional wins are going to be really hard to come by.
I don't think so. I think Baltimore is the only other good team in this division.
Browns have a great defense.
Cool.
That always plays. That always plays. You're in every game.
Yeah. Okay. Alex, what's yours?
Mine's pretty spicy, but it's the Ravens to kick a field goal in every single game, plus 1,400, which I thought was insane for who their kicker is. Justin Tucker, you got a new guy on your block too. Brandon Aubrey is coming for that title, buddy. Revenge tour here.
I was gonna say, what's the Cowboys here? Like, what's their line?
I mean, it's
You
probably
don't know,
similar.
but it's probably. I bet you get better odds.
Yeah, maybe, but it's the
I'll look it
Ravens
up.
do stall out a lot, and if Lamar takes a sack or something, like they'll still be in field goal range as long as they don't go behind midfield. So
Well,
Justin Tucker
apparently
plus 1,400
Cowboys are in
yards.
field goal range at their own
I love it.
40-yard line. So
It's true.
Yeah,
Let's see. Cowboys to
yikes, that's
a-
large.
Okay, that's 1 touchdown. I don't want that. I don't see a field goal
kick
line
a
for
field
them.
goal in every game. Just Google. Oh, yeah, I got you. Hold on.
Oh, here it is, 1,500.
Yeah,
I take the Cowboys over the Ravens, honestly.
nah, I'm riding with my boy Justin Tucker.
I mean, both of them are obvious.
Are good.
This,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you
All
know
right.
What it was last year?
No, come
If
on.
they did last year.
Yeah, I didn't-
I'm just
For who,
I
the
didn't go that
Ravens
far
or
in depth.
either one.
I'm sure he didn't hit it
Um,
just because it's plus 1,400.
Right, but I want to know how close he got because
Yeah. I
I'm
got
just
you.
trying to
Let's
think
see.
of 10 games where
It'd
they
have to be
can
like a
kick-
freak defensive battle or like
Yeah.
a weather game where he doesn't get it or something like that, or just a shootout
Which
where they're
Baltimore?
not kicking field goals.
That's what I'm saying. I'm doing this right now. Dallas.
Yeah.
I'm putting money on it because
Well-
Baltimore plays in Baltimore. You never know what kind of weather you're going to get.
I think
Dallas.
Justin Tucker's used to that weather though.
I was going to say, I guess Dallas plays that weather the same amount in New York, Washington, and
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look. I don't see. Maybe can you look at Justin Tucker on Sleeper? You can, can't you?
Sure.
I think you can. That should tell us, right? Justin Tucker. All right, 2023 they had one game where he did not make a field goal. He was over 1. It was against Tennessee.
See, so he was close.
Okay, that's
Oh wait, no, sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. That was I was looking at extra points. I apologize. He had 2 games last year where they didn't hit a field goal. And
Still close.
both times it was 0 for 0. He never had a shot.
All right.
So, and then Brandon Aubrey for the Cowboys. Let's look at him. So 2 for Justin Tucker. He had 1. Week 10 against the Giants. It was 0 for 0. 7 made extra points. So they scored 7 touchdowns, but no field goals.
wow. Those are both really doable.
Yeah. So all right, there you go. All right, and then mine is I don't think the Bengals are going to get the 1 seed. I like what Trent's saying about the schedule, but I still think the Ravens are the team to beat in this division. I do like the Bengals the second most. So if you bet exact top 2 division order, Ravens 1, Bengals 2, it's plus 325. If you think that's how it's going to shake out. Now, if they flip-flop, you don't win, so you have to nail it exactly. But if you think it's going to be Ravens 1, Bengals 2, it's plus 325. Team tiers.
Can we skip this?
Let's just run through it quick.
Super Bowl contender or Ravens?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. What about
I think the Bengals are too.
AFC contenders. Well, I
Yeah.
guess close. Same thing almost, but yeah.
AFC championship contender?
Yeah.
Or just
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else is cake.
What about the Browns?
Good, not great.
Great defense, questionable offense. So I guess
Good, not great.
Yeah.
Good, not great.
Not great.
Okay. And the Steelers.
Trash.
Bottom.
Just put the little spork from Toy Story 4.
All right. Spork from I never saw Toy Story 4.
It's okay.
How is that possible? It's on Disney Plus.
I haven't seen everything on Disney Plus.
It's not in theaters.
Okay. All right.
I
And
wouldn't
then
subscribe to Disney Plus. They could kill you and it'd be your fault.
That's true. Prediction for division order. How many votes for the Ravens to win it?
1 for me.
1
I'm
for
going
me.
with the Bengals.
I'm going Bengals too.
I like their schedule.
Should I call
Sorry,
Austin?
guys. It
No.
was my bet. I had to. Just put whatever
Actually,
you want.
yeah. Call Austin.
Tiebreaker.
No. Call him.
Tie-
Call him. That was the best thing last week. Better pick up.
All right, what do I settle?
Yep.
Who's winning the AFC North between the Bengals and Ravens?
Tell them about the schedule for the Bengals.
Shoot.
The Bengals do have a last place schedule. I don't know if that factors into your decision, but
That does factor into my decision. It's just there's so
Joe
many
Burrow
question
also
marks.
is coming
There's
back
so
from an
many-
injury that no quarterback has ever had in the history of football.
There are so many question marks for that team.
Go through
All
all
right,
of them.
I
I
wanna
think
go
I
back.
gotta take this. I think I'm gonna take the Ravens.
All right,
That's fair.
Ravens. All right,
Yeah.
thanks,
Shock
buddy.
answer.
No problem.
Not a
Bye.
bad.
So
Okay.
Bengals second.
Browns
third,
and then Steelers.
Steelers.
Sounds about right.
Okay. Let's move on to the NFC North, as we are now an hour into the podcast.
Fucking
So-
finally.
Last year's standings, Lions won the division and made the playoffs at 12-5. Packers also made the playoffs at 9-8, and then the Vikings and Bears were both 7-10. We'll start with the Lions. They added defensive tackle DJ Reader, cornerback Amick Robertson, and cornerback Carlton Davis. They lost wide receiver Josh Reynolds, guard Jonah Jackson, cornerback CJ Gardner Johnson, and then they drafted cornerback Terrion Arnold and cornerback Ennis Rakestraw. The Packers added tackle Andre Dillard, running back Josh Jacobs, safety Xavier McKinney. They lost running back Aaron Jones, offensive lineman John Runyon Jr., safety Darnell Savage. And they drafted offensive lineman Jordan Morgan and running back Marshawn Lloyd. The Vikings added running back Aaron Jones, quarterback Sam Darnold, outside linebacker Jonathan Greenard, linebacker.
Can we skip this next part?
Andrew Van Ginkel.
No, the lost section of this. Can we skip it?
I'll say it fast. Lost linebacker Anthony Barr, quarterback Kirk Cousins, linebacker Jordan Hicks, and outside linebacker Daniil Hunter. And then they also drafted J.J. McCarthy and edge rusher Dallas Turner. And then finally, the Bears added offensive lineman Ryan Bates, safety Kevin Byard, running back DeAndre Swift, wide receiver Keenan Allen. They lost safety Eddie Jackson, quarterback Justin Fields. And then they drafted quarterback Caleb Williams, wide receiver Rome Odunze, and offensive tackle Kieran Amagaji. Sure. All right, we'll go with that. Apologies to Kieran and his family. Rosie, we'll start with your Lions. What are your expectations for the Lions defense this year?
Well, if you're starting from last year, they had a top 3 rush defense, and then they added DJ Reader to that. So I think with their rush defense, I think it's going to be top 5 again. You can almost guarantee that. Dan Campbell loves stopping the run. And then you get to the one weakness of the team, and that's the cornerbacks. Last year we had the Cam Sutton, who got himself in big trouble. And so now he's with the Steelers. And Kimani Vidal, who had the pass from Brock Purdy bounce off of his face mask and land in the hands of Brandon Ayuk. He is now the 5th string cornerback. So nice. This team is going to be so much better on defense, especially with the pass game. There's just so many options. There have already been a few injuries. Terrion Arnold got hurt, and then Emmanuel Mosley, who's coming off of 2 torn ACLs, tore his pec. So, but there's options.
Yeah, and from a secondary standpoint, they can't be much worse than last year. So it's like nowhere to go but up, right?
Exactly.
We've got props, folks. This is why you got to watch on Spotify.
Is that Kirk?
He is. Trent has lit his Kirk Cousins candle.
I'm not over it yet.
Let's go ahead. We were going to do Packers. Let's talk about the Vikings. Then we'll come back to the Packers.
The Vikes.
Especially now with the J.J. McCarthy injury, Trent. It is all Sam Darnold this season. What are your expectations for him?
I don't know. 8 wins?
Mediocre,
7
baby.
wins? 8 wins?
I think he plays 8 games. And then they put in Nick Mullins.
No.
Fine. I'll
Not
say
a chance.
11 wins.
Oh, man.
Why are Vikings fans so high on Sam Darnold? Like, what has he ever done?
I don't think people are high on Sam Darnold as much as they are high on Kevin O'Connell. That's what I think the root of all this is. But that being said, Sam Darnold is his entire career has had a bottom 5 offensive line. He made Robbie Anderson a 1,000-yard receiver. He was 4-1 in Carolina before Christian McCaffrey got hurt. Which that might say something more about Christian McCaffrey. But this is we'll know. Like, you think you know now, and you might. But this is the year we're going to know what Sam Darnold is. If he truly is trash, he's going to truly be trash.
Yeah, I agree with Trent. He hasn't had
if he was just in a bad spot this whole career, you're going to know that because the Vikings quarterback job is, I don't know. I try not to be biased, but I feel like it's one of the better jobs to have with like all the weapons they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like if he doesn't show up this year, then he really is just trash. But hopeful optimism. That's what I would say to Rosie's. What's with all this Vikings?
I think
Whatever.
to repurpose or reuse a question I had from the AFC North discussion. This is the final ultimate no more excuses make or break season for Sam Darnold. Like, this is where we get closure on what he can be as a quarterback. And it's either he is, a career journeyman and just a backup and probably out of the league in a few years, or is he like the latest iteration of like Ryan Tannehill, who Ryan Tannehill didn't move around quite as much, really at all compared to Sam Darnold, but was in Miami, was on some, below average offenses. And you were constantly wondering like, okay, what is Ryan Tannehill going to be? Who is he as a quarterback? How good is he going to be? And then he goes to Tennessee and is really good and put together a few good years for the Titans. And they got the 1 seed one year, I believe. So not saying that I think Darnold is about to, get the 1 seed in the NFC this year, but there have been at least some recent examples of guys putting it together once they finally get into a good situation.
Yeah, but Tannehill had, and I'm the biggest Tannehill fan, obviously, but Tannehill had good games in Miami. Sam Darnold has never had a really good game.
I bet if I looked up stats, I'm not gonna because I don't feel like it. But I bet that would be incorrect.
I do feel like it. I'll look it up. Don't worry.
I wonder if he's
you don't go
gotten
4-1 without passing in Carolina.
Yeah, that might be like his one good game.
Yeah. So I mean, he hasn't shown anything. Was he top 10 pick or something?
Yeah.
Hey, week 17. I'm just looking back at game logs here. Week 17 of the 2022 season.
Was that his rookie year?
No, his rookie year is 2018.
Oh,
Sam Darnold is 27.
Oh,
geez.
He's
Same
our
age.
age. Dang.
no,
Yeah.
not mine.
Look at us. We're
But
sitting
week
here talking
17
about him.
Week 17, he's
That
on the road at Tampa, and he was 23 of 37, 341 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Wait, is this is 2022?
Yeah.
So this was Tom Brady and everyone sat that week?
Was that his career high in passing?
No, but this was the first year of the 18 game season, so there was one more game to be played.
Okay.
We don't play 18 games. We play 17.
Okay, you know what I mean.
Week 17.
We'll
game
play 18
16.
soon, though. You'll be
Game
right in about
16.
2 years.
Either way, the Vikings are probably going to be last in the division, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Trent.
Nah, I think I'm leaning with Rosie because I think we should segue to the Bears, Andrew.
Well, we
Caleb?
need to talk about the Packers.
Why? We can talk about the Bears first. Bears are
Let's
bad.
talk about the Bears first. Alex wants
Okay.
to, so I want to.
All right, we'll talk about the Bears. fine.
Caleb. I'm so excited.
I don't even want to pose a question, Alex. Just what are your thoughts on the Bears this season?
Well, like I just said, I'm really excited to watch Caleb. I was lucky enough to watch him at OU live. I believe in the hype. He's going to be electric. He's going to have Russell Wilson-esque type scramble plays when the pocket breaks down. He's got Rome or Keenan Allen downfield to sort of improv their routes with the scramble and all that. I think it's going to be electric. It's not going to be like consistent good football. There's going to be a lot of sloppy plays because he's a rookie and the Bears are still shaky offensive line wise and all that. But overall, it's going to be appointment watch for me. And I don't know. What do you guys think?
I had a
think-
conversation with my cousin. We're all big Minnesota fans. And it kind of ended with, I think he's for real and I hate it.
Yeah.
You used to think he was going to be a bust, so you've changed.
I didn't think that. I hoped it, to be honest. Yeah, I actually did watch quite a bit of, probably more preseason football this year than I have ever. And there were 2 quarterbacks that I thought looked like look comfortable in the pocket. Like rookie quarterbacks rarely look comfortable in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Williams was definitely one of those, and I thought JJ looked pretty comfortable.
This division is
And
going to
then-
be a bloodbath.
I agree. But I think Caleb Williams is legit, and I'm kind of upset about it.
I think that we're a little bit too quick to crown him the king of quarterbacks.
Well, no one's
I-
doing that.
I think
Not
that he's
even
going to have a
for
good
his
career.
draft class, really.
It's just I think this first year is going to be really inconsistent.
I just think it was great. Like, every time you played Chicago, you chalked that up as a win. Like even like everyone in the division was like, "Oh, we get Chicago this week, we're going to win." I don't think that's going to be the case.
I agree.
I think he's
And-
more likely to turn out not saying he'll reach these heights. I think he's more likely to be like CJ Stroud in year one than he is to be a disappointment.
I don't think it's possible that he can do what CJ Stroud did.
Why is that? Because if you look at his college record, he was just as good or better than CJ Stroud.
Yeah, but
He's got the
translating that
weapons
to the
around him. He's got a good defense. They were good last year. It's really just that offensive line that needs to hold up. That is
God,
my
I need
concern.
to
Trent
quit
needs to
moving
get
my
some
mic. I'm
WM
sorry,
shortage.
you're
guys.
killing us.
I'm so sorry, guys.
But they brought in Ryan Bates on the offensive line. They drafted Kieran last name.
Yeah, so they're
redacted.
trying to invest in that too. I think
I-
they're giving
think that-
Caleb all the things in the basket. So it's really
Alex, I
just
think
up
the
to him.
team is good. I agree
do.
with
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Even on defense, I think the team is good.
Okay.
The difference between him and CJ Stroud is CJ Stroud stepped into an offense led by a Niners coach, and Caleb Williams is stepping into an offense
What has the
led
Niners
by
coach done? They don't
some
win Super
bum,
Bowls.
They
Eberflus.
get there just
Okay,
about every other year,
and then they choke.
which is more than we can
Yeah,
say for
but I
any of our
think-
teams.
And now
But they
I don't
run
know.
every single
I think
Niners
it's the
coach
exact
runs a great
same
offense.
situation.
D'Amico
Like,
Ryans is
the
a
only
defensive
thing that's
coach.
down, like you said, is
Yeah, but
probably
he
the coaches
hired
are
a-
worse.
Offensive coordinator that was from the Niners.
Yeah, again, I thought I said this, but I'll repeat it. I'm not saying he's going to reach the highs that CJ Stroud did in year one. I'm just saying he's more on that end of the spectrum than he is having a disappointing rookie season. Like I'm much more confident in him being really good year one than I am him just kind of, struggling and being probably bottom third in the NFL. Like, I don't think that's what's going to happen.
If I were to predict what was going to happen with him, I would think that it was like Andrew Luck's rookie year, maybe a little bit
That
better
was-
than that.
Wasn't that solid?
It was 4,300 yards,
They've never had a 4,000-yard passer, so right there, that's
23
history.
touchdowns, and 18 interceptions.
Yeah, if he passes for 4,000 yards, they're gonna throw a party, dude. A parade. Never
18
happened.
I just
interceptions
also
is
like,
really
I don't
bad.
know, man. I also
18
think it's
interceptions
like,
is bad, yeah, but
That's what I see is like he's gonna do a lot of good, but he's also gonna do a lot of bad.
but they also have like, I know this has been talked about, but this is one of the best situations for a number one overall pick to step into in terms of weapons, in terms of defense. Like, usually the number one overall pick goes to a crappy team because they were the worst team in the league, but the Bears were not the worst team in the league last year. And they've got Roma Dunze, and they've got Keenan Allen, and they got DJ Moore. Like, they have three legit pass catchers,
effing Panthers.
and they got a good defense.
I hate the Panthers. They're my least
No,
favorite team.
I do think they're
Yeah.
going to be good. It's just going to be really inconsistent because this team is trying to gel under probably a bad coach.
I don't care if he has like a good amount of interceptions. If he surpasses 4,000 yards and becomes the first Bears quarterback ever to do that, his rookie season's a massive success.
yeah,
I'm
all
not saying
rookie
that's a bad
quarterbacks
thing.
turn the ball over.
Like
He's
Andrew
not going to
Luck-
win the Super Bowl year one, but he's
No,
going
he
to be
won't.
adequate.
And he's probably gonna
But could they make the
Betting favorites to
playoffs
win
as a
rookie of
wild
the year,
card?
for
I
sure.
think so.
I think just comparing him to CJ Stroud played perfectly. Like he didn't throw interceptions. He just
had
threw
some bad
bomb
games.
touchdown. He had one like kind of bad game.
He had that 3 interception game against who's it, Cleveland, I think.
I think
it
that
Cleveland?
might have been the Panthers actually.
Oh, was it?
Um,
I'll look it up. You can keep going.
yeah, but Caleb Williams, he feels a lot more like he's gonna have a lot of great plays and a lot of really bad plays, kind of like Justin Fields.
It's actually Arizona when he had two touchdowns, 3
There you go,
interceptions.
guys. Justin
There you
Fields
go.
doesn't throw a ball like Caleb. Come on. Packers?
It's true. Packers. They have been the darling of the NFL media this offseason. So I need someone to try to pour some cold water on that.
Okay,
Trent?
fine, I'll do it. I don't think they got better. Did they get better in the offseason?
Kind of stayed the same.
Yeah, they stayed the same. And I
I mean,
think
they upgraded
everyone
at
else
running back, I think.
I disagree. I
Gave
don't
him
think
massive
Josh Jacobs
contract.
is better than Aaron Jones.
Love.
I think Aaron Jones is the most underrated running back of our life.
Jacobs is pretty good, though.
Jacobs is fine.
So is Jones, but neither like
Aaron
Anyway,
Jones.
the world.
Aaron Jones was a game changer in Green Bay.
He doesn't stay healthy though. Like he
That
is
is
a
true.
game changer, but he gets banged up real quick.
That is true. But
Besides
I don't know.
that, Alex,
Yeah, he's a
Well,
great
it's
runner.
not really about what the Packers added. If I could play devil's advocate for a second,
go for
which
it.
I hate doing for the Packers, but they were the youngest team in the NFL by like a year, and towards the end of the season, they all their young guys started to look great, including Jordan Love.
I'd want Jordan Love to be bad. So bad.
Me too.
Me
Is he
too.
the highest paid quarterback in the league right now? That's insane.
I so much want
One
this
half a good
contract
year.
decision to be like the Daniel Jones one, but I just know it's not.
It's not gonna.
I
He
know.
I
can
think
throw
it
the
will.
ball. And he's
I'm out
I
on the
hope so.
Packers.
Are you out?
I think
So-
everyone's got the NFC North chalked up like Lions, Packers, Bears, Vikings. I think that is way too easy, and there's no shot it happens.
I think there are people who think the Packers are winning the division.
There are
To that, I say, what are you drinking? Because I want some.
You want some Packers Kool-Aid?
So
Yeah.
Ew.
I will say, if you don't think they got any better, which is fine, to Rosie's point, a lot of their young guys you would expect to continue to get better. They did win a playoff game with a huge asterisk because it was against the Cowboys, so it kind of counts as like half of a playoff win. Like I think if you look at like Jordan Love's playoff record, it should be like 0.5 and 0, but that's another topic. I don't even if you don't think they got significantly better, I don't think they got worse.
I think they did. I think they downgraded it at running back.
So Josh, I mean, that's not that big of a down. That's not going to affect the team at all.
I will say, I think it was Dan Orlovsky. They're trying to fill the preseason, offseason, TV blocks, and he ranked the wide receiver cores in the NFC North, and he had the Packers ranked first.
whoa.
I would have
they're
the
young,
Packers
but
ranked
they're unproven.
last.
I don't know, man.
I don't know if they're.
They're
Well,
all
yeah,
good.
actually,
Take
there's
the
a lot of
biggest
playmakers. Hold
receiving
on.
core over the Packers.
It's close between them and the Bears because the Bears have.
I don't
Keenan
think it is
Allen.
at all.
It is because the Packers
hold
have
on.
two.
What's the question?
The best wide receiver cores in the NFC North. Dan Orlovsky had the Packers ranked first.
Is this golf? Packers
I mean,
have
they have
the worst.
unproven
It's
guys.
not
Thank
close.
you.
in year 2, year 3, but
They don't have a single receiver better than DJ Moore, and they don't have a single receiver better than Keenan Allen. They don't have a single receiver better than Justin Jefferson. They don't have a single receiver better than
no one
Amon-Ra
does.
St. Brown.
That's true, but they have 4 really good players. So
No, they have
have
four
four
good players.
solid.
Rosie?
Yeah.
I
Good
no one
players.
elite.
I like the
Rosie.
Packers.
You're waiting for someone to break
All
out,
about
and I think that's what Orlovsky's. He's thinking someone is going to break out.
And honestly, like the Packers, I think only 2 of their receivers, I actually think they could end up being better than what they currently are. And it's Wicks and Reed. Like Dobbs, I think he is what he is. And Watson, I'm actually pretty low on. So like everyone's flaunting this wide receiver depth that the Packers have. And it's like, is it really depth? Or is it just like a bunch of guys? I don't know.
I mean, it's
Can
a
we
bunch
get
of
into
guys
the
that get you 1,000
fantasy-
yards. That's nice.
Can we get into my fantasy question?
Yeah.
Packers wide receivers, question mark?
What?
Just don't have to rehash it again. We might as well just do it now.
We're already doing it.
Well,
We're halfway
if I can
through.
make the case, the Dan Orlovsky case,
We're
I
gonna do
wouldn't put them first. I would probably put them ahead of the Lions, which hurts. But Jaden
for-
Reed,
yeah.
I really like Jaden Reed coming out, and he was way better than I even thought that he'd be. He probably has the most likely percentage to like be the number one option because he's really good in the slot. Christian Watson, I know like Andrew, you and I haven't liked Christian Watson at all, but like he is a playmaker. Like he's a baller if he can stay on the field, and it's really just been hamstring. He probably has the highest ceiling out of all of them. I think Romeo Dobbs is probably right now the best out of the group.
It's a great
Apparently,
number
there's
two.
been like a lot of hype between him and Love. Are like have a great rapport. He torched the Cowboys in the playoff
Well,
game.
Everyone torched easy. Like,
Well, I'm saying out of the receivers that were there, Romeo
Okay.
Dobbs was the guy. So if I'm buying anyone in fantasy right now, it's Romeo Dobbs because I think that he could, like you said, that he doesn't have a ceiling that he can't get better. I think he could be the number one. But honestly, all these guys have. And then Wicks, I'm not that big of a fan of Wicks, but as a 4, he's great. So in fantasy, I'm probably buying none of these guys except for Dobbs because he's going really late. But I expect someone to have an amazing year.
what do you consider amazing year? Like 1,500
Top 10.
yards?
Top 10 in fantasy. 1,500? Probably not, no. That's too much.
Okay. All right. Alex, your fantasy question.
I put Amon-Ra St. Brown to have 13 or more receiving
No. Your
touchdowns.
fantasy storyline, not futures bet.
Oh, shoot. Oh, we already sort of talked about this one too, but it was like, what is Caleb Williams? Not ceiling, but what's his floor? Because he is a rushing quarterback. He's going to be mobile. Like Rosie said, he's probably not going to be as consistent. Going to be some turnovers here and there. But what's his floor? Are you thinking top 15, top 10-ish?
Is it just for this season or like for his career?
Just for this season, yeah, because
Okay.
we don't have any bases. So that's what
We're
I'm
in
watching.
redraft season, Andrew. It's
I just
season.
wanted to clarify the question. That's all.
Yeah, I just want to see if his floor is at least above like top 20-ish.
Yeah, I think his floor from a fantasy standpoint. Gosh. I don't know.
I think top 15. Top
That's
16.
top
Yeah.
15. I don't know
Yeah.
why you're
Top
thinking about
15 is
this.
probably safe just because he runs.
Like Trevor Lawrence, probably. Trevor Lawrence was quarterback 13 last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
that-
can see
yeah.
that.
So that's what I'm watching.
Okay. Trent.
Will Detroit produce a second fantasy relevant wide receiver?
Yes.
We all know Sun God, he is a wide receiver 1. Like if you have him on your team, you're excited. But will Jameson Williams show up? And that's the extent of my knowledge of the Detroit Lions receiving core.
There's no one else.
That's what scares me about Detroit. Like they're a good team, yes, but if a team figures out how to cover Sun God and Laporta, what else is there?
The
So
run game.
I think maybe I think that the what is it? the Lions' season is going to rest on Jameson Williams' shoulders, I think. I think if he shows up and he's like even a decent wide receiver too, then the Lions just run away with the North. But if he is absent and, one target, one touchdown, whatever that he was his rookie year.
And last year too.
And last year too, I don't think the Lions. I mean, I don't know.
They'll be good, but
the Lions are going to be good. They're going to win 10 games. But
no, Trent, I'm right there with you because I think last year I said the key for the Lions to have a deep playoff run is Jameson Williams going off because he's the only one, other than probably Gibbs, but Gibbs was a rookie last year, who can take it to the house and be a giant playmaker. He's the only one. Goff can't do that. Love Amon-Ra. He can't.
Amon-Ra can do that.
He doesn't take it to. He's a solid wide receiver who will make every play that he needs to. But he's not a burner. He'll never be a burner. That's just not his game. Jameson Williams, just to shed some light on him. Everything out of camp, he's that guy. He is learning he has learned the whole route tree. They're actually going to scheme him open like they haven't done before. They haven't put a lot on his plate other than being a deep threat. And I trust Ben Johnson that they'll have him open where he needs to be and not just running post routes all day long. So
I think that's the main reason to be optimistic about Jameson Williams is Ben Johnson. The fact that he's still there. Because he is so good. And if anyone can kind of crack the Jameson Williams code, I would bet money on Ben Johnson. I would not recommend Jameson Williams to bet money on Ben Johnson. Because, yeah. Okay. My fantasy storyline is I'm curious if this is the richest division in overall fantasy. So if I put the line for how many quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers are top 12 at their position, and how many tight ends are top 8 at their position, at 6.5.
over.
Let's talk about it.
It's 10, at least.
10. Okay, so
Sun God, Jefferson.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to put Goff top 12, Caleb Williams top 12, Jordan Love
Can we
top
not
12.
bounce all over the place? Let's just go by position or by team.
Okay. So Vikings.
So you think 3 quarterbacks are top 12?
Yes. Maybe 4.
No.
I don't know if there's a whole lot of defense playing in the NFC North.
Maybe 4. That's a good one.
Maybe 5.
Darnold?
Maybe 5.
Top 12?
This is what I think about the Vikings this year. I think they're going to put up 30 points, and I think they're going to give up 40 every game.
So rich. It's just going to
So
be
I
rich
think
for
it's going to be
fantasy.
I think they're going to be offensively astounding in the NFC North. So I think 6.5 is easy.
Okay. So you had 3 quarterbacks. Jefferson and Amon-Ra gets you to 5.
Laporta, I even think
Laporta's hurt
Hawkinson-
though. When does he come back?
No,
He's fine.
not.
Oh, he's
Hawkinson's hurt,
Hawkinson. Okay.
but I still think Hawkinson gets there, and I think Kmet gets there.
Komet does not get there.
I think he does.
Caleb likes tight ends, especially
Caleb
when
likes
he's
tight
looking
ends.
for an outlet.
So I'm
Brian
at 8
Gerald
right
Everett.
now. I'm at 8 right
Cole
now. and
Kmet
I
was the
haven't
tight end
included-
8 last year, so he would just
not
barely
doing it
get
again.
there.
He's
I
got a
haven't
better quarterback.
included DJ Moore. There's 9.
Maybe Rome or Allen.
Jahmyr Gibbs, Josh
Jahmyr
Jacobs,
Gibbs.
All right, so it might have been a bad
Aaron
line.
Jones.
I think Aaron Jones gets there. Maybe even Ty Chandler. I think there's a lot of
Swift.
offense. I think there's a ton of offense in the NFC North.
Okay, so maybe the
I
line
think
needs
the
to be
only
like
other
9.5.
division that maybe comes close offensive wise is the NFC West. Just maybe,
Yeah.
not tight end wise though. Tight ends are sort of sparse there.
Still have
but
Kittle.
Wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, they got it. But I think, like you said, this division is more overall, all around.
I think that's going to be a fun thing to track. Which between the NFC North and the NFC West has more players that fit that criteria? Top 12 for quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and top 8 for tight end.
Every team in the NFC North gets to play the Vikings secondary twice, so that's cheating.
It's gonna be a good time.
Okay. All right. Favorite futures bets. I'll bring this up because we were just talking about the Bears and Cole Kmet's name came up. I found this one. It's a long shot, but I do think it's a little interesting. DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Keenan Allen, and Cole Kmet, each with 5+ receiving touchdowns at 17-1.
I'm telling you, Cole Kmet breaks that. I'm sorry. He's not going to do that.
What did he have last year? Hold on.
He's a good red zone threat. Big body, tight end.
He had
Running
6
out.
last year, 7 the year before
Running
that.
out.
They brought in Keenan
6
Allen,
last year, 7. I mean,
Romo Dunze,
Trend.
and Gerald Everett, who was playing first-team reps along with Cole Kmet.
So I think Caleb Williams' touchdown line is like 22.5.
oh, that's over.
So if you say he gets to 25 touchdowns,
I
who
think
else
20
is getting touchdowns in terms of passing?
I mean, some no-name always. DeAndre Swift will get some.
Yeah. I don't know. It's worth 17-1, I think, at least.
Oh, yeah.
You throw $3 on it, and that turns into $55 or $54. Worth a shot. So, all right, Trent, what you got?
Green Bay Packers exact position finish in the standings. 4th for plus 650. I am so out on the Packers.
You don't say.
I'll say
might
this:
be-
Trent has nailed the
It-
NFC North Division standings every single year.
That's not like 2 years ago. I got it exactly right, and that was, I mean, honestly, one of my top 3 betting moments ever. Vikings, Lions, Packers, Bears. I still recite it in my dreams. Last year I had the Lions winning the
Michelle's
division.
like, Trent, just go to bed. And you're just sitting there, 12th time.
I don't see. I don't want to say the Packers season last year was a fluke. I think they regress a little bit before they advance, if that makes any sense. And I think people are sleeping on Minnesota. I don't think the Vikings are going to be anywhere near the Super Bowl. They might be a playoff team. But I think the
any
Bears,
of the teams from this division are Super Bowl contenders. I guess we'll get into it with team tiers, but
yeah, I kind of think the Lions might be around there, and I think the Bears are dark horses. But we'll get into that later. But I just don't get Green Bay. I don't think they did enough in the offseason to continue what they were doing. I think people are going to figure Jordan Love out. Tougher schedule this year. I don't know how to explain it, but it's all chalk, and it never goes chalk ever. And people are high on Green Bay. I think they're going to flop. They're going to flop. Flunk? Flop.
They're gonna fluck it up.
I don't know. I see him struggling this year.
okay. Alex.
All right, so I went with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sun God, to get 13 or more receiving touchdowns at plus 500. I think he's going to be a weapon once they get down to the red zone. He's going to be the outlet for Jared Goff in the red zone. Jameson Williams might come along, but
Does it have to be receiving touchdowns?
Yeah, I took receiving touchdowns only.
I just don't like it because of Laporta, to be honest.
Yeah, but I mean, Goff.
What did he get last year?
How many touchdowns did Goff have last year passing? It was in the 30s, right?
It was around 30.
He had 30.
he got a little unlucky last year with the amount of times wide receivers were tackled at the 1 yard line, and then David
Yeah.
Montgomery would run it in. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to have more opportunity to throw more touchdowns. But how many touchdowns did Sam Laporta get last year? Like I think he got like 10.
I'm looking. Josh Reynolds had 5, and he's not in this offense anymore. And Laporta, where is he? Why is he not showing up? Hold on. Sorry. Oh, here you go. He had 10.
Okay. Yeah, and he was a rookie last year. I think he's going to be even better this year.
But even if he does take away some of the touchdowns, I still think there's a tops 3 mouths to feed. Like maybe a running back will get one every once in a while, but overall, I think his luck's going to change a little bit, and I'm expecting more of like a Mike Evans-esque type of season out of Sun God here.
Okay. Finally, Rosie.
I got the Detroit Lions at plus 500 to win the NFC Championship.
Nice.
This is kind of like, what was it, 2 years ago when we did the AFC East and your favorite
Buffalo
bet was
Bills to
the
win the
Bills to
Super
win
Bowl.
the Super Bowl
Yeah.
at 6-1.
Yeah, I'm not going to go that far. I don't think the Lions can win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff, to be honest. But I don't see how they don't get better from last year. They brought in 4 cornerbacks that should all be better than Cam Sutton was last year.
He sucked.
He was awful. Like he was probably
And
the worst
he's
quarterback.
awful human being. So
Yeah. So that was literally their only weakness on the whole team. They didn't lose anyone. Like they lost Jonah Jackson at guard, but then they brought in a guy from the Ravens who had an all-pro year, or not all-pro, but he went to the Pro Bowl. So like they're fine there. Like maybe injuries can take him out, but that's the only thing. I don't see. I wouldn't bet their win line just because I think the division is going to be really hard to get wins in. Like I feel like they're going to split with every single team.
Yeah.
But
I said this in our group chat like a week ago. I think there's going to be 2 teams are 10-7, and the other 2 are 9-8. Like
I could see it.
I
could
think
see it too,
the division's going to be one on a tiebreaker.
Yeah, it's going to eat itself alive.
But I think in the playoffs, like they're still dealing with the NFC, so they're not going to have to run through a gauntlet of quarterbacks. And they were right there with the Niners last year. They really were. They were as good, if not better than them. So I think they can do it.
All right, let's run through this real quick. Team tiers. Would we say the Lions are Super Bowl contenders? Any quabbles with that?
No.
Can I say AFC or NFC contenders instead?
Yeah, I'm going to say that too until I see him in an NFC championship game at least.
They were in it last year.
One last year.
Oh, well. Shoot.
Lost to the Niners.
I'm still leaning with Trent.
It's just hard to put any NFC team in the Super Bowl contender category.
That was what I was going to ask. Is like
I'll say can make the Super Bowl because I think they can win the NFC.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if it's like them versus Mahomes, I'm sorry, Rosie.
No, I'm with you.
Okay. Where do we put the Packers? What team tier?
Good,
I
not
think the
great.
rest of the other 3 are wild card potential.
Yeah, that's a good tier. Wild card, maybe frisky in the playoffs.
I would just say wild
If
card
they match up with the
they
Just
could
wild
be,
card in general.
Yeah, because they could be great or they could potentially be bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do that for all 3. I think that kind of makes sense with the way this division is. This is where it gets fun. Prediction of division order. Do we all have the Lions first?
I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Who do we have second?
The Bears.
2 votes for the Bears.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I'm
said
going to
Packers.
lose.
Let's go
but-
spicy.
We'll go Bears.
Yeah, we can go Bears. I have the Vikings. I want to be on record of saying that,
Okay.
but it's going to be the Bears.
Okay. And then
Packers.
Pack City.
I kind of think Packers too. Sorry, Trent.
That's all right. That's okay. You guys can all be wrong.
Nobody believed in us, right? It's
Maybe
bulletin
if they
board
had
material.
JJ.
I'm realistic here. I understand. Like
Yeah, send this
the
clip
Vikings
to
are definitely
Vikings right
the
now.
favorites to finish fourth.
Yeah,
I don't think
All
they
right.
will, but they might.
that's
Keep
the
the bottle away
podcast.
from Madison.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, take the keys away too.
An hour and 40. Dang.
Yeah, we'll wrap it there. Trent, do you have a dad joke for us?
I do not. I have no idea where my book went. Someone
Okay.
stole it, I think.
My fantasy rankings for redraft are coming out on Substack this week.
Hey, look out for
And-
that. Subscribe to the Substack so you can get that directly in either the Substack
And
app. You can get it
me and
right in your
Rosie
email.
Got a full week 0 preview coming for you guys.
We're actually gonna
recording
pod.
Friday. We're recording Friday, so it should be
Recording
out Friday
Friday.
night.
We'll probably release it Friday too, because
Friday night.
don't
Look
want
forward
lines to move.
Saturday morning with your morning coffee, and you're like, "Hey, there's college football on. Let me see what I can bet," and we got you.
Okay. There you go.
There
We
you
got
go.
lots of content. Football is back. We've got Rosie's rankings on the Substack. We might have some college football stuff coming on the Substack. We'll have a
Yeah.
college football preview next week with Austin. We'll wrap up our division previews next week. And then, boys, it is just off to the races. I think what we'll do tentatively is in 2 weeks from now, we can recap week 1 of college football. And then, like we did last year, we will each pick our exact playoff predictions for the NFC, AFC.
Oh,
And we'll
okay. I
figure
thought
out
you were
how
gonna
often we
say-
want to update those.
Thought you were
throughout
going
the
to say
season.
college football, and I was like, that's going to be a 12-team bracket for each guy.
Ooh, I can't wait.
I know.
I'm big
I'm
into college
excited.
football this year. I've never been more into college football than I am right now.
Shout out NCAA 25.
Yep.
All right, here's a dad joke.
Washington Huskies.
Shout out NCAA 25.
Go Huskies.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Dad joke. Someone stole my car last night but left their mobile phone in the parking space. Went from Kia to Nokia overnight.
That's cringe.
Didn't like it.
Nothing?
That's cringe. That is.
I thought that
cringe.
one was pretty good. Nokia is a brand of phone, by the way, for those
Got
keeping
it.
track at home.
Oh, thanks for explaining.
Yeah, you're welcome.
This makes the joke better.
All right, let me see if I can find another one. Oh gosh,
The one last week was hilarious.
what was one last week?
I don't remember.
Oh,
It was so
Good.
funny. I don't even remember it.
Means it was good.
what do you call twin police officers?
Bipolar.
Copies.
I like that one better. Yeah.
No, you didn't.
I recently took a poll and found that 100% of the people in the tent were angry when it collapsed.
There we go. That's a good one.
It really wasn't, but we'll end it there. All right. I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your week. Enjoy week 0 of the college football season, and we will see you next time.
You know, like